We've been figuring this out forever. Why would you think that giving a kid a drug, I mean, I don't think kids should be given drugs in almost any situation for something like this.
Yeah.
But, I mean, has that come up in conversation with maybe people you've dealt with, or they don't want to know what's wrong with their kid, or should they put their kid on Adderall? Adderall's a big one for kids.
Oh, it's huge. It's huge, and it's horrible because it's training their brain. And then a problem that a lot of people don't talk about, the dilemma it puts parents in, because their child that was getting B's or C's, they start Adderall from their doctor. They're getting straight A's. Even though the parents know it's not good for them, they want their kid to get A's. They want their kid to go to these universities. So think about the dilemma it puts a lot of parents in. They know deep down, most of them do, they're probably lying to themselves that it's not messing them up. Oh, they'll get off it once they're in college. Do you realize what will happen when you try to get them off of Adderall? They've been on it their entire life, all throughout grade school.
Throughout maturity.
They won't be able to read like a BuzzFeed article without Adderall after years of taking it, let alone like they're not going to have the attention span because their brain is used to that. So
it's like anything else. If you create a baseline using a substance, all of it's like if you're on TRT. If you're on TRT and then all of a sudden you just decide to stop all of it altogether, dude, you're going to feel that for the next 2 to 3 weeks. It'd be even worse if you've been on it for 30 years. That's terrible. No, and that's the thing with kids. It's just, it seems like it hits a lot harder whenever it's a kid who isn't exactly in charge of his own decision making. The parents are in charge of it. And there's a lot of pressure to get your kids into school and to do all that. But I mean, you and I are also at an age, even right now, we're not older dudes, we're young guys, but college was a blip. You're like, okay, yeah, great. I got good enough grades to go to a nice school. I got my degree. I got out. But now what? Now what am I supposed to do for the rest of my life if I've been on Adderall for the last 15 years and that's how I made it? You're going to become a professional, and that's really when it ultimately counts. It's like, all right, why don't you take all that knowledge from school and all those good grades, and now let's see if you can actually go out and make something. Let's see if you can change somebody's life, or you can maybe make a living doing this. If I have to stay on that drug what happens? I mean, what are the downsides of staying on antidepressants for 40 years? What happens?
I mean, it's been proven to cause a wide array of nutrient depletions. So magnesium, B vitamins, including folate, vitamin D. Basically, it depletes so many nutrients that those deficiencies are linked to depression.
Aren't you not even, your appetite is entirely decreased.
Oh,
you're on Adderall specifically, I've heard.
I mean, Adderall absolutely too, and it's literally flooding your body. It's artificial stress in your body. People say that caffeine elevates cortisol, which isn't great for you. I like caffeine. I'm a caffeine guy, but that's nothing compared to Adderall. And you mentioned these. So Adderall lowers something in your brain called BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. That's what actually lets your brain grow new brain cells and adapt to changes.
And I'm sorry, I got a little. What diminishes that? Caffeine or Adderall? Adderall diminishes.
Does.
Okay.
Adderall does.
So you literally can't learn, or
you can. You're trading off short-term focus for lack of proper brain development. And
wow, I've never heard that.
Yeah, no, it's
while you're able to pass the quiz, you probably aren't retaining the knowledge in another year. If I asked you about that quiz, you wouldn't be able to remember.
And that's what's very scary, because I know people from undergrad that I know people from undergrad that took that, and I'm trying to think how to word this. Not everyone has the intellectual capacity to be a doctor. Just flat out, everybody's different.
Yeah.
And I've met I've met people that know people that I don't think they were able to just study nonstop for 3 days straight to memorize and then dump it on the test.
Yeah, they were able to cram.
And then they could do that, but now they're practicing physicians, and like they just know how to get it, regurgitate it, dump it, not actually apply those types of concepts. But at the same point,
it's so dangerous.
When you're a regular physician, a lot of times it's just X symptom for Y test to prescribe Z drug. Yeah. So there's not much critical thinking involved there. There really isn't. And, that's not a knock to the actual physicians. It's the training system that's completely screwed. Same with the PhD training system. Like all this stuff, people ask me all the time, what resources did you use? What books did you read? How did you learn? I'm like, honestly, 99% of this is just me on my own, just reading papers, connecting dots. The foundation of the concepts, how cells work and stuff, that I learned in my coursework in the PhD. But all the context, the cool stuff I talk about, none of that's taught anywhere.